If you're watching this, you'd better subscribe, because from this moment on, you'll start thinking like a Machiavellian. You ever wonder why some people just take what they want? Why they move through life like they're playing on an entirely different difficulty level? They're not smarter than you, not richer, not more talented, but somehow they're always 3 moves ahead, like they were born reading the script of the world while everyone else stumbles in blind. They see opportunities you walk right past. They make moves you don't even register until it's too late. And by the time you finally understand what happened, they're already gone, sitting at the top while everyone else is still clawing at the first step. So what do they know that you don't? Here's the truth, cold, ruthless, undeniable. The difference between the weak and the powerful has nothing to do with luck, strength, money, or pure talent. It's knowledge. Not academic knowledge. Not the work hard and be nice nonsense they fed you in school. I'm talking about the real knowledge. The knowledge of how power actually behaves, moves, coils, strikes, and devours. Most people still believe success comes from being good, being kind, being patient, working hard, and waiting for someone to magically notice their worth. That childish fantasy is why most people lose. Because while you're out here trying to play fair, trying to be seen, trying to be appreciated, someone else is playing a completely different game. A game with rules you've never even heard of. A game where fairness is irrelevant, kindness is optional, and hesitation is suicide. Power begins in the mind. And geniuses, those people you can't stand because everything seems to fall into place for them, understand a brutal truth most people never grasp. The world runs on invisible rules. Laws. The laws of power. Not the moral rules. Not the polite rules. Not the be a good person and wait your turn rules. These rules have controlled humans for thousands of years. They are the fault lines that separate rulers from followers, predators from prey, the ones who take from the ones who give, the ones who win from the ones who die with excuses on their lips. Most people still believe they're playing by the rules. Geniuses know that the rules are just an illusion. I'm not telling you to become cold and heartless, unless that's what the situation demands. I'm telling you this. If you don't understand these laws, someone else will weaponize them against you. You will walk into traps smiling. You will get outplayed without even realizing a game was happening. You'll call it bad timing, bad luck, destiny, the universe, or whatever comforting light keeps you from facing the truth. You simply didn't know the game being played around you. 500 years ago, Machiavelli cracked the code. He studied power in its raw, unfiltered state, how it grows, how it survives, how it destroys, how the strong stay strong and the weak stay weak. And he discovered something terrifying enough to change history. Power is not random. Power follows patterns. Power follows laws. And those who know these laws control everyone else. Today, I'm breaking down the 8 darkest laws geniuses use to outsmart everyone. Not advice. Not positivity. Not comfort. These are cold, calculated strategies that have been used for centuries by people who refuse to lose. Once you see these laws, you can't unsee them. Once you understand them, everything shifts. The world stops feeling random. You start seeing the strings behind every decision, every reaction, every coincidence. Watch every second of this video, because missing even one of these laws could be the difference between staying stuck for years and finally breaking through. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I control my power. Let me ask you something, and don't answer too fast. Who do you respect more? The person who's always around like background noise, or the one who appears only when the moment matters? Be honest. The one who texts constantly, who's always available, always eager, always present. Do you admire them? No. You tolerate them at best. But the one who disappears? The one who leaves gaps, silence, uncertainty? The one who's there one moment and gone the next? That's the one who gets inside your mind. Here's a law most people learn too late. Constant presence kills respect. When you're always available, people stop appreciating you. You're not valuable. You're cheap. Predictable. Forgettable. You're noise. Static. A notification nobody cares to open. But the moment you pull back, the moment you disappear, the entire dynamic shifts. Suddenly people notice the empty space you left behind. They wonder where you went. They ask questions. They replay the last conversation. They suddenly remember the value they ignored. Your value doesn't increase because you changed. It increases because you became scarce. Geniuses understand this on an instinctive level. They know availability is the enemy of power. They know the more accessible you are, the less influence you hold. Scarcity is magnetic. Abundance is ignored. It's not about being rude. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about understanding something most people are too desperate to see. When your presence is constant, it becomes worthless. When your presence is rare, it becomes priceless. Look at the people who command real respect. They don't respond instantly. They don't show up to everything. They don't give their time away like confetti at a parade. They are selective, strategic, deliberate. They show up when it counts, and they vanish when it doesn't. Machiavelli once said, "Make yourself necessary but never common." Distance strengthens your presence. Silence amplifies your voice. Absence sharpens your value. When you step back, people start to miss you. When you return, people finally pay attention. Here's what really happens when you master this law. People stop treating you like an option. They stop assuming you'll always be there. They start reaching out first. They start valuing your time. They start competing for your attention. But most people, they do the exact opposite. They chase. They overextend. They show up uninvited. They text too much. They call too often. They suffocate the room with their presence. Desperate to stay relevant, they become invisible. You don't build power by being everywhere. You build power by being missed. So here's what you need to do. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now. Pull back. Cut availability. Guard your time like it's a weapon. Stop giving access to people who never earned it. Make them wonder. Make them think. Make them feel your absence like a consequence. Disappear to increase your worth. Withdraw to create. Demand. Silence yourself to amplify your power. When you're scarce, you're valuable. When you're everywhere, you're disposable. This doesn't mean you become cold. It means you become intentional. Your presence becomes an event, a moment, a shockwave. Be the person people look forward to seeing, not the person they assume will always be there. The weak cling to presence. The powerful weaponize absence. Master this law and watch how quickly people shift. How they treat you differently. How they respect you more. How your value rises simply because you stopped handing it out for free. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My absence creates value. Here's a truth most people choke on. The one who chases always loses. Always. You've seen it happen 1,000 times. Someone wants attention, approval, a connection, a deal, recognition. And what do? They chase. They push. They insist. They move toward people and opportunities like a starving animal running after scraps. And the more they chase, the faster everything slips away. Meanwhile, there's always someone else doing absolutely nothing. No effort, no begging, no chasing, and somehow everything comes to them. Why? Because they understand the law the weak refuse to accept. Power is control, and control means making others move toward you. When you chase, you surrender your position. You become the one who needs, who wants, who hopes. You become the one waiting for permission. And nothing kills power faster than neediness. Neediness is repellent. It signals weakness, insecurity, desperation. It screams, "You are the prize, not me." The moment you chase, you lower your value. The moment they chase, yours rises. Position yourself as the prize, and the entire dynamic reverses instantly. This is how geniuses play the game. They don't hunt. They attract. They don't run after opportunities. They position themselves so opportunities have no choice but to run toward them. Think about the people you've chased. Did they respect you more or less? Exactly. Chasing makes you invisible. It removes your leverage. It kills your mystery. Now flip it. Think about the people who chased you. Didn't their value rise in your eyes? Didn't you suddenly feel like the one in control? That's the law in action. Machiavelli said, The one who adapts to the times prospers. The one who acts blindly fails. Meaning, stop running after things that run from you. Start positioning yourself so they adjust to you. This law is not about arrogance. It's about strategy. Make yourself so undeniably valuable that people have no choice but to come to you. How? By building bait. Bait can be anything. A skill they need. Information they want. A result they admire. A reputation that pulls them in. A presence that makes them curious. You don't beg with bait. You lure. Subtle. Quiet. Controlled. Here's the difference. The weak knock on every door. The strong make others knock on theirs. Stop chasing people who don't chase you back. Stop pursuing things that require begging. Stop putting yourself in positions where you're the one doing all the work for attention. Flip the script. Build your value so high that people feel stupid ignoring you. Sharpen your skills. Produce results that speak louder than your words. Strengthen your identity, your image, your aura, your presence. Become someone people want to learn from, work with, be around, follow. Then wait. Let them come. Because when people come to you, you control the terms. You set the pace. You decide who gets access. You choose what you accept and what you reject. That is power. Pure, clean, unapologetic power. But when you chase, you give all of that away. You become forgettable, replaceable, overlooked. Position yourself as the prize, not because you're pretending to be better, but because you're building something worth seeking. The moment you stop chasing and start attracting, your entire life recalibrates. Drop this affirmation in the comments. They come to me. Let's be brutally honest. Painfully, violently honest. If people don't notice you, you don't exist. Not in business. Not in power. Not in relationships. Not in influence. Not in life. You could be the smartest person in the room. The most skilled. The most prepared. The most deserving. But if nobody sees you, if nobody hears your name, if nobody remembers you, none of it matters. Invisible excellence is worthless. Attention is not vanity. Attention is survival. Attention is currency. Attention is leverage. Attention is the oxygen of power. And invisibility? Invisibility is death. Not metaphorical death. Social death, economic death, political death, psychological death. Most people are terrified of standing out. They blend in like sheep. They speak softly. They avoid risk. They try not to disturb anyone. They hide behind humility. Behind modesty. Behind, I don't want to cause problems. And then they wonder why the world forgets them. They wonder why nobody calls their name. When opportunities emerge, why nobody thinks of them. When promotions appear, why nobody turns to them. When decisions are made. It's simple. You can't be respected if you're not noticed. You can't be valuable if you're invisible. You can't be influential if you're forgettable. Geniuses understand this. They know attention isn't optional. Attention is the battlefield where power is won or lost. They don't wait for permission to be seen. They demand it. They drag attention toward themselves with force, precision, and intent. Machiavelli said, "Men judge more by the eye than by the hand." Meaning, people don't care what you are. They care what you appear to be. They remember the bold move, the loud statement, the dramatic action, the moment nobody else had the guts to take. They forget the quiet ones, the cautious ones, the hesitant shadows fading in the background. Now listen carefully. This law isn't about being obnoxious. It's not about screaming for attention like a desperate clown. It's about strategic visibility. True attention comes from actions that disrupt the pattern, moves that make the world pause, words that land like strikes, presence that cannot be ignored. Think about history. Every figure who shaped the world, good, evil, or somewhere in between, understood how to control attention. Not hide from it, not fear it, not avoid it, control it. Because here's the truth the invisible hate hearing. The world rewards the visible. It punishes the invisible. When you're noticed, doors open, people reach out, opportunities hunt you down. When you're invisible, you fight uphill for scraps nobody else wanted. So, How do you court attention without looking desperate? Simple. You do something worth noticing. You create value so strong silence becomes impossible. You act boldly while others hesitate. You speak with conviction while others whisper. You show up differently. Not louder, but sharper. Not chaotic, but unforgettable. You don't ask for attention. You earn it by being undeniable. Stop hiding behind excuses. Stop telling yourself one day. Stop waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. The spotlight doesn't find people by accident. It finds people who step into it. Be loud with your actions. Be distinct with your presence. Be unforgettable in the landscape of ordinary. At the end of the day, the ones who get remembered are the ones who refuse to be forgotten. Stand out or get erased. There is no middle ground. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I demand attention. Here's a hard pill to swallow. One so bitter most people choke on it their entire lives. Nobody helps you out of kindness. Nobody supports you because they feel mercy. Nobody saves you because it's the right thing to do. People act for one reason. Self-interest. Always. Unapologetically. Instinctively. I know that sounds cold. I know it conflicts with everything you were taught. The fairy tale version of humanity where people are good, generous, noble. But look at your own life. Look at the last time someone really helped you. Was it because they felt sorry for you? Or was it because helping you benefited them? Directly or indirectly? Exactly. People act based on what serves them, not you. And if you don't understand this, you'll waste your entire life begging, explaining, and hoping, and getting nothing in return. Here's what the weak do. They appeal to people's hearts. They try to trigger pity. They plead, "Please help me, I'm struggling." They hope compassion will open doors. It never does. But geniuses, the powerful, the Machiavellian, they never make this mistake. They don't ask for favors. They offer benefits. They understand that the fastest way to get what you want is to make other people want to give it to you, not because they feel sorry for you, but because it serves their goals, their plans, their interests. Machiavelli said, "Wise princes avoid conspirators by not giving anyone reason to harm them and by satisfying the people." Translation: stop begging. Start offering value. Here's the truth. If you want someone's time, someone's resources, someone's influence, someone's help, don't appeal to their mercy. Appeal to their self-interest. Don't talk about your problems. Don't explain how desperate you are. Don't tell them they should help you. Instead, show them exactly how helping you benefits them. Will it make them look good? Will it solve a problem they have? Will it give them leverage, connection, influence? Will it save them time, money, effort? Will it put them in a better position? Find the angle. There is always an angle. That's what strategists do. That's what powerful people do. Because here's the difference between the two paths. Appeal to mercy. They help you once. Resent you forever. Avoid you afterward. Appeal to self-interest. They help you gladly. Respect you. Return for more. Because helping you helps them. This is how alliances are forged. This is how lasting connections are built. This is how people move mountains for you without hesitation. Not because they're generous. Because it's smart. Turn their desires into your weapon. Stop approaching people with your hand out. Start approaching them with value in your hand. The moment you shift from, "Please help me, here's why helping me benefits you," your entire life changes. People stop seeing you as needy. Start seeing you as strategic. Start seeing you as someone worth aligning with. Start seeing you as someone they want in their circle. Give people a reason to help you. That has nothing to do with pity, and everything to do with advantage. Master this law, and you'll never struggle to get support again. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I offer value first. Here's a question that slices straight through the ego. One that instantly separates the powerful from the powerless. Who needs you more than you need them? If your answer is nobody, then you're not in control. You are exposed, vulnerable, replaceable, disposable. Because here's the truth. Power doesn't come from independence. Power comes from making others dependent on you. The world worships independence as a virtue, Be self-sufficient. Don't rely on anyone. Stand alone. But that's a lie told by the weak, to make themselves feel better about having zero influence. Real power comes from the opposite. When people need you, you control the relationship. You dictate the terms. You set the pace. You decide how things go. They can't ignore you. They can't replace you. They can't move forward without you. That is leverage. That is control. That is dominance. But most people, they do the exact opposite. They depend on others. They rely on others for validation, support, direction, resources, opportunities. They become replaceable, forgettable, interchangeable, and then they wonder why they have no influence. No say, no leverage, no control. Geniuses never allow this. They design their life so others need them, not out of manipulation, but out of strategic necessity. They become essential, not optional, not convenient, essential. Machiavelli said, "The best fortress is to be found in the love of the people." For even if you build walls, they won't save you if the people desire your downfall. Translation: if people depend on you, they protect you, they elevate you, they guard your position, because losing you costs them too much. Think about your own life for a second. Who has power over you? Who can say no and instantly disrupt everything? Who has something you need that you can't easily get anywhere else? That person holds power. Now flip it. Who depends on you for something specific, something valuable, something irreplaceable? If that list is short, or worse, empty, your foundation is weak. Here's how you change that. Become indispensable. Not good, not useful, not helpful. Indispensable. Master a skill nobody else around you has. When you're the only one who can unlock a door, everyone needs you. Acquire knowledge others can't access. People fear losing someone who knows what they don't. Create value nobody can replicate. Uniqueness is power. Specialization is power. Scarcity is power. Build a position others rely on. If removing you creates chaos, you are untouchable. Independence is strength, yes. But being the source of other people's survival? That's control. And control is everything. This doesn't mean you manipulate or trap people. It means you build yourself into someone who is simply too valuable to discard. When you're essential, people protect you, defend you, invest in you, compete for you, fear losing you. When you're replaceable, you're one bad day away from being forgotten. Stop being average at everything. Stop being mildly good at 100 useless skills. Stop spreading yourself thin, trying to please everyone. Pick something valuable. Master it brutally. Own it completely. Become the go-to person, the irreplaceable cornerstone. When people need you, you don't fight for a seat. You own the damn seat. And here's the final twist. When you're essential, you don't have to scream your value. People feel it. They fear losing it. They respect it. Dependency becomes your fortress. And nobody storms a fortress they benefit from. Ask yourself, what do people lose if I vanish? What collapses if I walk away? What breaks without me? If the answer is, not much, start building your indispensability today. Make others need you, more than you need them, and watch your power grow like wildfire. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I am essential. Here's something you need to swallow whole, and it's going to burn on the way down. Arguments expose weakness. Every time you argue, you reveal something fatal. That you're trying to convince someone. And if you're trying to convince them, it means you don't have proof. You don't have results. You don't have dominance. You only have words. And words are cheap. Words are weak. Words are the currency of the powerless. Powerful people don't waste oxygen arguing. They don't defend themselves. They don't beg to be believed. They don't go back and forth trying to win a verbal tug of war. They win through results. They silence through action. They destroy doubt by doing. Think about it. The last time you argued with someone, did you actually change their mind? Did they suddenly see the world your way? Or did both sides dig deeper into their ego trenches? Arguments aren't about truth. They're about ego, pride, insecurity. Two people swinging words like dull knives. trying to scratch victory out of empty air. It's exhausting. It's pointless. And worst of all, it makes you look desperate. Machiavelli said, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." In other words, people trust results, not words. People follow proof, not debates. When you argue, you defend a position. When you act, you prove it. And proof kills every argument before it starts. Here's what geniuses do instead of arguing. They stop talking. They stop explaining. They stop defending. They execute. They demonstrate. They deliver. They let their wins crush the noise. Someone doubts you? Don't explain. Prove them wrong. Someone questions your ability? Don't defend. Show results. Someone tells you you can't? Don't argue. Go do it and watch them choke on their own words. Because here's the truth. People forget arguments, but they never forget results. They don't remember who won the debate. They remember who won the game. They don't remember who talked louder. They remember who walked away victorious. Powerful people don't argue. They change reality. When you focus on action instead of argument, everything shifts. You no longer need validation. You no longer care who believes in you. You no longer waste energy explaining your purpose to blind minds. You start building. You start rising. You start collecting proof that speaks louder than anything you could say. And here's the funny part. When the results arrive, the same people who doubted you will magically pretend they always believed in you. That's how the world works. So stop defending yourself. Stop explaining your decisions. Stop trying to make people understand your vision before it exists. Go build the proof. Go create the evidence. Go achieve something undeniable. Actions erase doubt faster than any argument ever could. Let them talk. Let them question. Let them gossip. Let them whisper. While they waste breath debating, you'll be busy winning. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My actions speak louder. Every word you speak is a piece of your mind escaping your control. And the more of your mind you reveal, the weaker you become. Most people talk too damn much. They explain everything. They justify every move. They narrate their whole life like they're begging for approval. They reveal thoughts, fears, doubts, intentions, plans, all of it spilling out in endless verbal diarrhea. And they don't even realize it. They think being transparent makes them honest. No. It makes them predictable. It makes them manipulable. It makes them weak. Because the more you say, the more people know. And the more people know, the more power they have over you. Silence, on the other hand, is a weapon, a blade, a shield, a psychological chokehold. The less you speak, the more people imagine. And what they imagine is always more powerful, more intimidating, more mysterious than anything you could say. When you're quiet, people fill in the blanks. They project meaning. They assume you know more than you do. They see depth where there might only be restraint. They build whole stories about you in their head. And that artificial mystery commands respect. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." Most people destroy their own power by talking. Talking too much makes you seem nervous, insecure, unfiltered, weak. It shows a desperate need to be understood, to be liked, to be validated. But saying less? Saying less makes you appear in control. Silent, cold, focused, unshakable. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to open your mind for others to dissect. Mystery terrifies people. Uncertainty keeps them off balance. Silence forces them to wonder. And the mind hates wonder. It fills the gaps with exaggerations. You become larger than life, more dangerous, more competent, more unpredictable. That is power. Here's what happens when you talk too much. You give people ammo. You expose your weaknesses. You reveal your insecurities. You show your strategy before the game starts. You make yourself easy to read and easier to control. Smart people don't do that. Smart people listen more than they speak. They observe while others ramble. They store information, analyze behavior, collect psychological leverage. And when they speak, it's calculated, intentional, precise. Every word is a weapon placed exactly where it needs to land. Words reveal. Silence protects. Look at the people who command true respect. They aren't the ones who talk endlessly. They're the ones who speak carefully, who know when to remain silent, who don't feel the need to fill the air with noise. They don't overshare. They don't overexplain. They don't reveal their plans prematurely. They let people guess, assume, project, and fear. Here's what you need to start doing now. Talk less. Share less. Explain less. When someone asks you something, give them the minimum they need. Not everything. Not the whole story. Just enough. When someone challenges you, don't give them a speech. Give them silence or a short, calm response. That hits harder than any desperate explanation. When you're planning something big, keep it in the dark. Don't announce. Don't brag. Don't tell the world your next move like an amateur. Just execute. Let them see the results when they drop like a bomb. The more you talk, the more predictable you become. The less you talk, the more powerful you appear. Silence isn't weakness. Silence is strategy. Silence is dominance. Silence is psychological warfare. Master the art of saying less than necessary, and you will notice instantly how people treat you differently, how they speak to you, how they respect you, how they become careful with their words, how they start valuing your silence as much as your speech. Your words will carry weight, because you won't spend them like loose change. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Silence is power. The moment people know what you're thinking, what you're planning, what you're preparing, what you're about to do next, you've already lost. Because the second your intentions are visible, people can counter you. They can prepare for you. They can block you. They can outmaneuver you. They can sabotage you before you even make your move. Predictability is death. Transparency is suicide. Revealed intentions are a blueprint for your own downfall. Never, and I mean never, let people see your true plan. Geniuses operate in shadows not because they're sneaky, but because they're strategic. They understand the brutal truth. Revealing your intentions is like showing your cards. In the middle of a poker game, it might look honest. It might feel noble. It might seem transparent. But you will lose. Every single time. Machiavelli said, "Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception." The most powerful people aren't always the strongest, the fastest, the richest. They're the ones nobody sees coming. They move quietly. They plan silently. They strike when the world is distracted. They appear where no one expected them to be. Their silence is not emptiness. It's calculation. Confusion protects you. Secrecy shields you. Disguise liberates you. Here's what happens the moment you reveal your intentions. People interfere. People criticize. People warn others. People copy your idea before you can execute. People plant doubt around you. People position themselves to block your path. Not because they're evil, because knowing your plan gives them power over you. But when your intentions are hidden, you become untouchable, unpredictable, impossible to sabotage, impossible to preempt, impossible to stop. When nobody knows what you're doing, you can move freely and strike precisely. By the time they figure out what happened, you're already 10 steps ahead. The victory is secured, and the door behind you is locked. A hidden mind is an unbreakable weapon. Now listen carefully. Hiding your intentions does not mean lying constantly. It does not mean becoming antisocial, paranoid, or fake. It means something far smarter. Protect your strategy. Protect your vision. Protect your next move. Share only what benefits you to share. Never the full truth. Never the complete plan. Never the actual timing. Never the real objective. When people ask what you're working on, give them the surface-level version. The harmless, boring, incomplete one. Let them believe they know you. Let them assume they understand you. Let them think they have you figured out. Meanwhile, your real plan lives underground. Sharp, silent, and ready to strike. Think about the biggest plot twists in your life. The people who shocked you. The moves you never expected. The opportunities that came out of nowhere. They won because you didn't see them coming. Now think about the times you announced your plans too early. Did people support you? Or did a wave of negativity, doubt, envy, and interference hit you like a storm? Exactly. The more you share, the more resistance you create. The more you reveal, the more obstacles appear. The more you talk, the less freedom you have to execute. So here's the formula of power. Plan in private. Move in silence. Strike in public. Keep your intentions concealed until they become reality. Don't give people time to react. Don't give enemies time to organize. Don't give doubters time to poison your mind. Let your results be the announcement. Let your success be the revelation. Let your achievements be the shockwave. People can't stop what they can't see coming. They can't sabotage what they don't understand. They can't prepare for what you never reveal. Master this law, and no one will ever outsmart you again. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My mind stays hidden. So there they are. The 8 darkest laws geniuses use to outsmart everyone. Not the laws people want to hear, but the laws the powerful actually live by. Let's be real for a second. These laws aren't comfortable. They're not soft. They're not warm. They're not meant to make you feel good. They're meant to wake you up. They work because they're rooted in reality. The psychological reality of power, not the fantasy version the weak cling to. Power has never been physical. It's never been about muscle or noise. It's always been psychological. About perception. About influence. About understanding how people truly think. How they react. How they fear. How they desire. How they behave when nobody is watching. It's about seeing the game being played, while everyone else is wandering blind, walking into traps, repeating patterns, handing their power away like candy. Those who know the rules control the board. Those who don't become the pieces. And now you've seen the truth. You've seen behind the curtain. You've seen how power really operates. And once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. Now you stand at a crossroads, and this choice defines everything. You can ignore what you've learned. Pretend the world is fair. Pretend morality controls outcomes. Pretend good intentions get rewarded. Pretend playing nice wins the game. You can go back to believing the comforting lies that have kept people weak for centuries. You can step into the real world, the strategic world, the world Machiavelli dissected mercilessly, the world where people win not by accident, but by intent, by precision, by understanding human nature, by mastering the laws everyone else refuses to see. You can begin applying these laws, not recklessly, not cruelly, but strategically, intelligently, with purpose. Because here's the truth. Knowledge without action is useless. Power without execution is imaginary. You can read every book, watch every video, consume every idea, but if you don't use them, they're nothing but mental decoration. So start today, not tomorrow, not next week, not when you feel ready. Power doesn't wait for readiness. Start small. Pick one law. Apply it ruthlessly for a week. Watch how people react differently. Watch how the dynamic shifts. Watch how you start seeing the world with X-ray vision. Then apply another, then another, then another, until you've rewired the way you move through life. Because once you use these laws consciously, you'll never again be manipulated blindly. You'll never again be predictable prey. You'll never again give your power away for free. And if this video opened your eyes, if it hit you in a way nothing else has, if it showed you something you've never seen before, hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs the wake-up call. And subscribe, because we're just getting started. The world doesn't belong to the loudest. The world doesn't belong to the nicest. The world doesn't belong to the lucky. The world belongs to those who understand how it really works. The world belongs to the strategic. The world belongs to the aware. The world belongs to the ones who master these laws. Now get out there and take what's yours, not by force, not by begging, but by understanding and manipulating the very structure of power itself. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. I play by my own rules.